Dudes and dudettes, boys, boys, boys and girls. Hey, before I go further, Happy New Year, compliments of the season, all that stuff. Merry Christmas. Look, I thought while I'm busy with this now, I'm starting to build the two locus that's got to go to Germany. And I'm busy sanding, which is normally something that puts me in a very bad mood, and I'm not the only one, apparently. So a guy rocked up here this morning. He's also a 3D printer. He does cars, and he does this, and he does that. And he says to me, he always has a problem that when he sands these things with a mouse, like this Ingo wireless one here. Look, I gotta go wireless because we have ESCOM. And if you plug something into the wall, you stuff up the whole grid and load shedding stage 6. Useless bastards. But anyway, let me just wipe the foam off. Anyway, so he said to me, yes, you know what? He gets swirl marks on his prints whenever he sands it with a mouse sander like that. Now, obviously, because this is a print, what we normally do, and what I've said to you guys before, is I start with 120 grit, and then I work my way up to 600, and then after that I go with a little bit of 1000 grit sand water paper, and I get them smooth as silk. Now, keep in mind that this is now the first roughening up of the print. This is where you get rid of all those marks. You do that with a 120 and you hammer it. So by the time that you're done and you get rid of all the print lines, it's sort of woolly, is maybe the right word. But you got to be careful, and this is what his problem was. He says to me, Rikus, I get these nasty swirl marks on my prints. I said to him, oh, okay, well, then take this and sand it, let me see. So I gave him the 120 grit on this Inco, and he started, and this was his net result. He probably stuffed this up for me. Okay, I'll see what I can do here. And I said to him, Boot, you know what? You not busy hammering a hole into the ground. You are sanding something. You're not supposed to do anything. You let the machine do the work. This is sanding 101, man. Yo, but what do you mean? I said to him, okay, let me show you. Now, I don't know how you guys sand. This is how I do it. If you do it differently, lekker man, lekker. Okay, but anyway, you can see here that the print lines are over like that. But the grain is that, is like this, horizontal. Okay? So you pick up that grain. Once you have that, that's you A4 away. Okay, now I've sanded here already. But I've done it there, but I haven't done it here. Now, the most horrible thing you can do with a mouse sander is to take this thing and go like that. Woo, dis groot moeilikheid. You don't do that. You don't go sideways like that. If you ever put this thing onto the print and you press down on it, and sand, is not good. Is not good. Now, I might be wrong, but this is my way of thinking. What happens is, while you sanding, and you force this thing, and you dig into this print, little pieces, this is PG, so little pieces here come off. You can see it on your hands and everywhere afterwards. It's little balls and crap that, comes off here. And sometimes that goes in under the foot here onto your sandpaper. And actually causes its own little grid. But now, because it's completely different to the grid, you get the swirl mark. All right, so that's exactly what happened here. All right, now you will see that I use this sort of third size one. I like these because what I can do is, when I feel that that one is a little bit long in the tooth, I turn it like that and I've got a fresh piece here. Now, the way you sand these things is when you're not going to be able to hear me, so I'm going to do it after I've spoken. You put this machine on there, all right, and you let the weight of the machine do the job. Do not press down, do not force it, do not turn it, okay? So, and you follow the grain like this, and you go slowly and easily and calmly and nicely, and it will be okay. Now, this is a specifically difficult one to do because there's doors here, okay? So I don't lean on it here because there's doors that get stuck over here. That's resin. That's already printed. It's lying there. So this really, I just make rough so that the glue takes better. All right. But if you see there, this needs to be sanded because this is open. All right. And I did it the same way that I'm going to show you now. So what you do, so if we make a stuff up here, it's okay because we're under the doors there. But what you do is just let it lie there and then go just with the weight of the machine. Do not force it and just follow the grain. And you'll see it's sand. Other thing, and look, I can't show you now, but that side of the foot here, that's in the air because I don't want to go over my door. So I'm basically just running it with this lip here. Alright? That's the other thing I want to tell you now, but we'll get to that now. Okay, so then you just follow the grid, do not force the machine, let the weight of the machine do the job. And you see, there you go. This is wrong. When I put it flat like that, put it down and sand. This is how I normally do it. Alright? And you can go over it as many times as you want. Now, I always put my hand on this thing when I'm, after I've done a bit. If there's heat here, you're busy jaging kak aan, then there shouldn't be heat here. Never. If you have heat here, you are forcing the machine, and that's not the way to do it. Now, on this bit here where we started, look, you got to run over this a couple of times. This was just the first one now, quickly. You can already see there's no swirl marks. The grain that you have there where we didn't sand as opposed to here where we did sand is gone. So you have a nice and smooth surface now. And you just go on there. You got to take your time when you're sanding a 3D print. You got to have patience. If you force it, you will have problems somewhere along the line. But I want to say also, if your motion, you do it like this, always make sure that you don't stay in one place too long. Not necessarily with the lower grids, but at a 400 and a 600, you generate so much heat that you will actually melt this if you hold it there. You know, so you got to move all the time. Be smooth. You know, soos jy 'n fucking broodjie smeer. You know, that sort of motion. Just go through it, and then you will sand it nice and smooth. And that's basically that, dudes. That's basically what I wanted to tell you. So to get away from this and fix this now is going to be a nightmare. Because you will just have to go over this time again and time and again until it's nice and or smoother than this. But that mark, you will not get out. So what I'll do is I'll put some of my filler over here. Just wipe it in with my fingers and then just smooth it out. Yes. Well, I've got a spare one of these, so I'll use that rather. But that is to prevent that. This is how you do it. And you need to understand that whatever, sometimes also the guys go and they buy these cheap mouse pads. Now you buy a Storecraft, is very good. I've never had a problem with Storecraft. I've never had a problem with Blacksmith. I've had trouble with some of the no-name brands that these little knobbies don't wear evenly, you know, so you get half of them worn off there and wara, and they actually get sharp. And that also causes the same thing, that you get swirl marks. But, this is to connect, why is there a hair here? This is to connect what I've just said. You only get these things wearing unevenly, even if it's a pretty crappy paper, if you force the machine. So what do you need to do tonight when you go to bed and you're a 3D printer and you need to sand some stuff tomorrow? You need to lie in bed, close your eyes and say 300 times, do not force the machine. Do not make circular movements. Do not go with the grain. Go with the grain, follow the grain. Then you should be okay. Okay. Right, boys. I have work to do. We'll speak later. Goed julle oukies, tot ziens.